Alright, and here we are with the GMT August update. And where do we stand on the P500 charging and shipping? Well, I'm going to tell you that. That's why you're here. Well, here we go. They're at batch number 3. And you say, what's batch number 3? Well, I'm going to tell you. 1989, second printing. Flying Colors, third printing. And the update kit. Storm Over Asia. And Versailles, 1919. And since we're on the charging and shipping stuff, the September batch. 1960, The Making of the President, second edition, and All Bridges Burning. Let's go on to October. 1918 to 1919, Storm in the West. A Time for Trumpets. Apocalypse Road. Kaiser, Caesar. Rome versus Gaul. Next War, Vietnam. And Normandy 44, The Mounted Map. And new games in the warehouse from HEXES and Ve Victus. For HEXES, Great War Commander, the British Expeditionary Force, and The Fate of, I hope I said this right, Riders. Or Reiters. For Ve Victus, Alexandre against Persia. Or I should say Alexander against Persia. Also, La Guerre de 1870, The War of 1870, and, I hope I say this right, Tourcoing, 1794. Also, the excellent new video series for Atlantic Chase. Jerry White has created a 10-part series. One being the introduction, trajectories, completion, stealth in Atlantic Chase, naval search in Atlantic Chase, and airstrikes. And you know, if you've played any Jerry White games, you know that his rulebooks are incredibly detailed and step by step. Like, I have an itch on my head, what do I do? Well, here's your head, here's your finger or your hand, and scratch. That's what I need. You might not need that. I need it. I love his books. And the new P500 editions, well, there are none. This week, GMT's taking a break. Take a break, everybody needs a break. But the new P500 reprint editions are Mark Herman's 4th printing of Empire of the Sun. Also, Labyrinth, The Awakening, 2010 to ? This is the 2nd printing. And Twilight Struggle, The Zero expansion, 3rd printing. Also, go check out Riccardo Mazzini's solo system for Combat Commander on BGG. Check it out. That's a tip.
game for gamers, made by gamers, by Flying Pig Games.
Strategy and Tactics and issue 324, the game edition. I hope I pronounced these names right. Fight the Fall, Faezule, AD 405, and Trakemerum, AD 533 is a two-player wargame system that simulates the battles that occurred during the era AD 376 to 560, roughly the time from when the Goths crossed the Danube to the Byzantine reconquest of the West. And what you get with this game is one 22 by 34 inch map and 176 counters. Multiman Publishing and Masahiro Yamazaki's The Last Stand, the Battle for Moscow, 1941 to 1942.
Hello, this is Riccardo Masini, and this week's greatest day in history and games is September 4th, 476. Probably the most important historical date no one ever remembers, the traditional date for the fall of Rome. I said traditional because this date is just a historical convention, since at that point of its history Rome had been in steady decline for almost a century. The city had been sacked by the Goths in 410, then by Attila, and then constantly threatened by invading foreign armies, and it was not even the capital of the Western Roman Empire anymore. The imperial court had moved to Ravenna in central Italy 70 years before. In 476, the Germanic general Odoacer deposed the young emperor Romulus Augustulus. He later sent the imperial insignia to Byzantium, capital city of the Eastern Roman Empire, proclaiming himself King of Italy. The Roman Empire in the West was officially over. In reality, it was all just a formality, because by then in the West Rome's imperium existed in name only. The once invincible legions were just a shadow of their previous military might, incorporating more and more barbaric elements and led by incompetent commanders. And when a general was any good to the dying empire, it soon fell victim of political intrigues and machinations. The causes for this decline are many, and historians are still arguing today about them. Foreign migrations, religious unrest, failing economy, factional infighting, and probably the truth really stands in the middle, with all those factors contributing to the dissolution of the ancient world's greatest empire. An empire, however, that is still very much alive even today, and not just in its material ruins. And I know something about those ruins, being born and having always lived here in the Eternal City. Rome still has an impact on our everyday life, in our institutions, in our languages, in politics and jurisdictions, even in military tradition and in our familiar customs all over the world. Anyway, the game we will be talking about actually gives you an opportunity to save the Imperium, or at least maintain some of its integrity. Pandemic Fall of Rome by Paolo Mori. As the title suggests, the game uses typical pandemic mechanics. It's a fully cooperative title, unlike GMT's Time Crisis. Players impersonating a typical character of the era with special powers, like military commanders or influential senators, try together to protect Rome from the barbaric invasions, forge alliances with the major populations, and possibly incorporate them into the Imperium, fighting against internal corruption and dissension. You'll have to collect enough cards to stop an invading tribe and forge an alliance, but you can also directly fight against them by using the few remaining legions. However, you must be quick and resolute, choosing well your new barbaric allies, because the power of the Empire is constantly falling throughout the game. The game can also be played in solitaire, and although it cannot be considered a strict simulation, it actually represents very well some historical dynamics of this pivotal moment in history. It's a good and very accessible game to play with your family and also non-wargaming friends, with enough flavor and unpredictability to keep even historical aficionados interested. So, that's it for this week. See you on the next Battlefields. Ciao!
Compass Games was live with the big man himself, Bill Thomas, on a town hall, episode number 6. And Mo of Mo's Game Table was live with Whiskey Charlie, episode 14, featuring the Dream Team designer, Herman Latman, the Herminator. Mo was also previewing Warriors of God from Multi-Man Publishing. Jan Heinemann, Let's Play history is being reasonable this week. He only has about 8 videos. The first one, he's actually playing football. That's European football. Tactics and Glory, I think it's called. Where he has a couple of games and I can't read German. But he still plays Fields of Glory, Empires, and also Strategic Command World War II, War in Europe. And he does Imperium, the Greek Wars, and something new, ladies and gentlemen, something new. A unbagging of hardware. This ain't software anymore, it's hardware. It's a magazine, Paper Wars from Compass Games. Jan Heinemann! And the Chief was on with Handtag, and their subject was Top 5 Victory Games. Also, he reviews Austerlitz 1805 Trafalgar Edition. And ID Jester is live unboxing of SPQR Deluxe Edition Plus Scenario Book. Continues with a video that's called The Mailman Hates Me. 2 more packages arrive. And GIMPY of the GIMPY Gamer starts a new review through of Border Wars, parts 1, 2, and 3. And the gentlemen of the Player's Aid are unboxing Samurai from GMT Games, also unboxing Napoleon Returns 1815 from Worthington Publishing. Dad vs. Son starts a shellacing's worth of videos with Combat Commander Europe, Scenario 21 called Saint Agatha. But I bet you it's Saint Agathe. But anyways, parts 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and wrap. The man famously known as Calandale wraps up Autumn of Glory and starts Grant Takes Command, Battle Above the Clouds. And Nathan, that wise guy, is doing game comparisons of War of the Rings and versus, War of the Ring versus the Battle of 5 Armies. Also, he's giving us a detailed description of company scale systems and the foundation of wargaming, counter-punching, and all that boring stuff. And the itinerant hobbyist, also known as The Robe, also known as the Hugh Hefner of wargames, because of The Robe obviously, is continuing his after-action reports on Poland Defiant. And Rick Beato interviews the voice of prog rock, John Anderson. I've got a story here. I had, my drummer was in a Yes cover band called Close to the Edge. And they were amazing. And one day, the bassist bought some albums from Chris Squire's website, right? And something went wrong anyways. I called up the company, and the company basically was Chris Squire's wife and him. And so he gets to speak to Chris Squire and says, hey, by the way, we have a Yes cover band called Close to the Edge. And Chris Squire's like, yeah, okay, just send me the link type thing. So he does. Obviously, that's what he expected. The bass player, not Chris Squire, my friend. Anyways, he gets a call back maybe an hour later. And Yes was going on tour, but John Anderson bowed out. So logistically, everything was in place to go on tour. And the singer of Close to the Edge, Benoit David, a friend of mine, they couldn't believe how much he sounded like John Anderson. I mean, he has his distinct tone, but it's amazing how much he sounds like John Anderson. And he played with Yes for 3 years, toured with them, and recorded an album, Come Fly With Me. I forget which one it is, but that's Benoit David, a friend of mine, played with Yes for 3 years. I got more stories, but I ain't gonna tell them. Actually, I just remembered another story. Once I went to see this concert at Fripp, Soundscapes, Robert Fripp. And I went to the washroom to pee, in those men pee stalls thing. And who walks in and pees right next to me? Frippy himself. So we had a conversation. I started off with, so this is where the boys hang out. And he had a laugh. What do you want me to say? It's awkward.
Hey folks, it's ARDWULF. Welcome. Dan Pinocchio has asked me to cover what's been happening out at ARDWULF'S Lair this week, so let's go. On Saturday, we did a surprise late-night unboxing of Red Poppy's Assault Artillery. This is a new release from Compass Games. It is the third game in the Red Poppies series, which is company-level World War I combat. And this is the Battle of a place in France, the name of which I cannot pronounce. On Sunday, we resumed our campaign of Great Battles of the American Civil War with Dead of Winter from GMT Games. This is our Battle of Murfreesboro campaign. We did actually call it in this episode as a Confederate victory. The Union Army was just too out of position to really recover and present a defensible front to the Confederate Army. So General Rosecrans decided to withdraw, aka flee. On Monday, we briefly revisited A Hot Dry Season, our campaign of Operation Attleboro in Vietnam, November 1966. This is an upcoming title from Legion War Games, and it is an operational Vietnam game. On Tuesday, we unboxed, or unsleeved if you like, Poland Defiant from Revolution Games. This is a 2019 release, and it is about the invasion of Poland in 1939. On Wednesday, we presented a guide to counterclipping, every wargamer's favorite subject, and we never tire when it comes up again and again and again and again. So please check that out if you'd like to hear more discussion on this favorite topic. And on Thursday, we unboxed Less Than 60 Miles. This is a release from Thin Red Line Games from 2019. It is a re-envisioning, if you will, of the old Central Front series from S&T of many years ago, and it is the first in a series of its own. And finally, as you may have noticed, this week I finally got a haircut. Thank God. I'd like to thank Dan Pentatore for giving me this opportunity to talk about what's happened on ARDWULF'S Lair. Until next time, happy gaming. So in my currently copious free time, I've been punching, clipping, and organizing lots of stuff, thus the topicality of the corner clipping video, and something amusing occurred. I had ordered from Enterprise Games, which is one of my favorite game stores to order from online, enterprisegames.com. Search for Enterprise Games, they'll come up. They're in Indiana. Great guy, great folks there at Enterprise Games. So I'd ordered some counter trays, right? Some of the typical GMT counter trays, and they showed up in this box. 3M. Yes, that 3M. That 3M. The 3M that used to make board games. And this box is in fantastic condition. I have no idea how Don actually has copies of Challenge football boxes from 3M. This box is probably 50, maybe 60, maybe 65 years old. And I'm thinking of putting it on eBay.
Kilroy was here is taking a look at Stalingrad 42, a quick unboxing and introduction of Mike Simonich's GMT's published game. Swordsman Wargamer in his Open the Box segment is unboxing Flying Pig Games Dream Team design Herman Lutman, The Rangers at Pointe du Hoc, an unboxing. And Matt, the man known as The Artist, is reviewing Hold Fast North Africa, a game published by Worthington Publishing. Wayne Hansen is unboxing a video of a magazine war game. It's a 2-player and with solitaire rules, a Against the Odds magazine, Operation Ichigo, Japan's massive 1944 offensive across China, designed by Tai Bamba. And is also unboxing the State of Siege style solitaire war game called The Mission, Early Christianity from Crucifixion to the Crusades, designed by Arben Madsen, published by White Dog. Napoleon's Triumph and his video called Another Coin joins the collection. Pendragon, The Fall of Roman Britain. The Discriminating Gamer, Dr. Cody, gives us his opinion on his top 10 2-player games. And Tony of Tony's Board Life continues the harrowing and tense experience of D-Day at Peleliu. Turns 8 and 9. Seek Out and Play gives us a short video on how Zone of Control works in TSR's Blue and Gray. Julius Fairfax is presenting games from the publishing company Do It Games. Combat Board Games is unboxing, and you won't believe it, Ambush, the expansion module Purple Heart, produced by Victory Games. Also unbagging Ultra Warrior from Task Force Games. And the OG, the original Grognard, continues part 7 of his American Civil War series from Steve Tiller, Battle of Cassville. Marco Omni Gamer reviews Philadelphia 1777, a game by Worthington Publishing, and goes to GMT with Beneath the Med review, a game by, obviously, Gregory M. Smith.
Hey guys, Dave here. Welcome to Centurions Review, the punk rock band of war game review institutions. There will be no review this week on my website because I have to go away for a few days this weekend, but we did do some first look videos on YouTube. The first one is Wellington and the Peninsula. It's from the Morningdale Game Project, published by Rand Game Associates. It's basically a area map. Looks like a type of area control war game. Looks kind of interesting, even though it's so old and crude. Next game we're doing a first look at on our YouTube channel is War of the States, Chickamauga and Chattanooga from Avalanche Press. Looks kind of interesting. The guy who sold me this, though, he told me it was complete. It wasn't. It was missing the rule book, but fortunately I was able to download a rule book from Avalanche Press's website. And last game we're doing a first look at is Downtown Air War over Hanoi, 1965 to 1972. It's from GMT Games. It looks like a very detailed and very complex air campaign game for the Vietnam War. It looks pretty interesting, though. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you guys soon on our website and on our YouTube channel. Have a good evening.
Games and Cradle of Civilization. This includes 2 games set in ancient times: Samaria to Persia and Alexander versus Darius. From Beyond Solitaire in podcast number 15 is interviewing Jason Perez on Pandemic, Fall of Rome. Another week, another show. Please subscribe, hit the like button, leave a nasty comment. I know one person who keeps doing it. I know you. Anyways, please think of supporting the show. You know, it's $1.25 a week. Huh? $5 a month. A coffee costs $5 anyways. Guys, life is beautiful. And man, I feel bad for the normal people. Let me tell you. Because normal people don't do this crap, man. And if you don't do this stuff, you know, you're suppressing crap all the time. Anyways, have a good weekend. The CSRs are coming along. I see the light. I see the light. I know I'm gonna get some comments. Yeah. You know what I'm talking about. Anyways, have a good weekend. Thanks for watching, and gather some nice mushrooms. One day, Pa decides to go for mushrooms, so he takes a walk in the forest. You see how fast things turned? Near a farm. And then his mind starts to wander. Freeman's farm. But first he needed intel to find out where the Brits were, so he went to the agent. Bah! You mean Pa? No, Bah! This is so stupid! Freeman's Farm, 1777 from Worthington Games, is where the American insurgents finally smashed the British coming into Saratoga. Decisive battle. Insurgency. 1 to 2 player game, 3 out of 10 in terms of difficulty, and in an hour, victory. The scale is small. You even have a battle board to get close and personal. If you want the bigger picture, again from Worthington Games, Saratoga, 1777, more of a strategic type game. But as he's walking, Pa hits a boulder, trips, and falls in the water, and it makes him think of another game. Fleet Commander Nimitz, the World War II Pacific strategic game, where you take on the whole Pacific shebang, but when you have a battle, you get close and personal on a tactical map. DVG! DVG! Having hit his head on a rock, he's a little disoriented and he sees stars. He thinks he's a space marine. Space Infantry Resurgence, Lock and Load Publishing. This is where Marines go take care of bugs in space. And what you get with this game is 260 counters, 60 mission maps, 1 manual, 181 noble cards. No cards, 45 single cards, 34 unit cards, 169 cards unit, 40. And this is a low complexity game and it's a 1 to 3 player game. But as he lands on the planet Hades, he gets a message from Earth. The princess that was kidnapped is on the planet. So you gotta escape from Hades, get the princess, and get out. This is a game designed by Dream Team, Herman Luttman, and Fred Manzo. Get the princess, get out. This is a solo opera, awesome, from HOLLANDSPIELE. So he saved the princess and was teleported down in a tank on the Eastern Front. Flying Pig Games Old School Tacticals Volume 1 Eastern Front, Volume 2 Western Front, plus their respective expansions. This is a huge game. You get a large, humongo map or maps, and it's just epic. You get epic battles. Epic! Alright, epic. All that from a walk in the woods and... Yep, all that from a walk in the woods. Next week, I think I have to go into the city. Imagine what's gonna happen then. You wanna know more about war games? Check out my channel on YouTube. No Enemies Here. Wargaming News. Adios. Dad versus son started a